You're building a shadow and you want to get to maps as quickly as possible? Then you've come to the right place. This is the best way I've found of leveling a shadow in the early game to get to your first Ascendancy as quickly as possible. This guide is going to be pretty fast paced, and I do recommend that beginners watch my 101 series, at least the links video first, to help you understand what I'm talking about. In the Twilight Strand, we're going to be using Viper Strike and Chance to Poison. This will make really light work at the mini boss at the end of the beach, Hillock. This skill has a nice long poison between hits, so you're even doing damage when you're not hitting him. Once he's down, wow, a pair of runner's boots, perfect. Where was I? Oh yeah, into town. Talk to Tarkly and let's pick up Cobra Lash as the quest reward. We're going to dual wield daggers for a little while. The two you picked up on the beach will be fine for now. If you weren't as lucky as me, which let's face it, you probably weren't, then you're going to have to look for runner's boots, and we're going to do this each time we come back to town. We also want to keep an eye out for green 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 and green green red links as a priority. Our first two link will be Cobra Lash linked to Chance to Poison. This will fire out projectiles from your weapon, which can chain and hit a ton of enemies. You can now drop Viper Strike. You'll also be glad to know that my luck ended with the boots I picked up on the beach. I don't get a 3-link until the start of Act 2, so some of the gems I tell you to pick up is for optimal use. I don't have enough gem capacity early on to actually fit them all, so I will be picking some of these up later as we level. We're now in the coast and we're running left to right to the exit. You don't need to kill anything in here, but you do want to grab the waypoint as you pass it. Once you get to the exit at the end, we're going to go into the mud flats. In here, we're going to loot the 3 rowers' nests. Do be extremely careful. Rowers are evil and love nothing more than stunning unsuspecting exiles. Once you have 3 shells from the 3 nests, we're going to head to the right of the arena and find the exit to the submerged passage. Touch the shells on the wall and head straight in. In here, grab the waypoint and take it straight back to the coast. Heading down into the tidal islands now, and we're going to run around the left hand side. If you reach a ramp, you want to head back and go to the right. Once you get to the bottom of the area, you'll meet Hellrake. He tracks your movement, so you need to move around erratically to avoid him freezing or killing us, or even both. Once he's down, grab the medicine chest quest and portal scroll. Then we're going to log out, back in, and we should end up back in town. Talk to Tarkly and get any blue gem for the quest reward. For the second quest reward, get Frostblink. Over to Ness now, and let's grab the Quicksilver Flask and Volley. Also buy Sniper's Mark. We can now have our first 3-link, Cobra Lash, Chance to Poison, and Volley. Note that taking Volley out the 3-link before boss fights will increase damage against the boss, if you can be bothered. Take the waypoint back to the submerged passage. In this area, find the bridge stroke stairs thing, and we're going to drop a portal on it. We're then going to head onwards to the ledge. Pass straight through into the climb, head right and grab the waypoint. If there's a big open space below the waypoint, then go down, else up. Locate the cliff with the wheel skeletons on poles, head past the green skeleton and don't stop running till you reach the lower prison. Take the waypoint back to town, go through the portal to the submerged passage and head downwards to the flooded depths. If you don't find the entrance down, then head upwards. In this area you're looking for a large area with an island surrounded by bubbling water. It's not boiling, it's more like there's a creature breathing underneath, which there is. You'll eventually see a series of monsters covered in some kind of stasis. Click the main monster several times and the Dweller will be released. This boss has a lot of hit points, so it will take a while to go down, but once he does, grab the essence that he drops and log back to town. Talk to Tarkly for the skill points book. Grab lesser multiple projectiles as the quest reward from Nessa and then buy shield charge from her. We're going to switch our offhand to a shield, and that's because we need a shield to use shield charge. If you don't have enough strength to use shield charge yet, then you can actually buy a heavy belt, or you can wait for this node on the tree. Shield charge is a great movement skill that doesn't have a cooldown, so you can spam it to move really fast. The only problem with it is it can't jump over ledges, so that's why we keep Frostblink. The essence we got from the Dweller allows us to upgrade our normal item to a rare. If you still only have normal boots, use the essence on them to try and get a movement roll. If you're lucky enough to already have runner's boots, then upgrade your weapon with it. If you couldn't upgrade your weapon, then try to buy an upgraded dagger or claw from Tarkly. That's if you haven't got a decent one already. If you don't have at least a large mana flask yet, then I would strongly suggest you buy one from Nessa. Take the waypoint back to the lower prison and work your way through to the upper prison. In here, keep an eye out for a hidden room with a chest in it. You can see the chest on the minimap before you see the room. The chest has a chance to drop Quicksilver Flasks, which are very useful early on. Finally, head to the Warden's Chamber. Run past Piety and follow the blood trails on the floor until you come face to face with Brutus. Lay down as much damage on him as possible while avoiding his slams. Try to stand behind him throughout the fight if you can. Don't forget that Frostblink is really effective to help you do this. Once he's down, grab any loot and log out. Take Withering Step for the quest reward from Tarkly and buy faster attacks, precision and vitality from Nessa. Our movement link is now going to be shield charge linked to faster attacks. If you're made of money and you have a red-green-green link, you can also add momentum. It should be noted that the way to make early game currency to buy these items in game is to pick up rare and unique items and sell them to vendors in a mixture of identified and unidentified. This will give you the two different currencies we use early. We took the waypoint back to Prisoner's Gate and we're running down the side with the cliff, take the offshoot to find the next one and head out to the ship graveyard. Grab the waypoint, this is normally near the entrance, then find the overturned boat and drop a portal at it. Now head on to the Cavern of Wrath. This is normally diagonally opposite the entrance to the area. Once inside, take the waypoint back to town and use the portal. If you're already level 11, then you can actually upgrade to the next skill early, which we'll talk about in just a second. Enter the cave under the boat and find the quest marker through the maze. Touch it to release the ore flame. Grab it and exit at the back of the room. Fairgraves the pirate will be waiting just outside the exit. Finish him. Once he's down, log out. Grab the skill book from Bestel for killing the pirate. And we're going to pick up any of the quest rewards from Nessa. Buy Poisonous Concoction. Our next 3 link is going to be Poisonous Concoction, Volley and Lesser Multiple Projectiles. We can now drop Cobra Lash and Poison. We also need to drop our main hand weapon now. If you use a main hand weapon, Poisonous Concoction won't function. If it does stop working in the future, it's likely you accidentally picked up a weapon. Just drop it. Very soon we're going to kill the end of act boss, and she does a lot of cold damage. You might want to get some cold resist rings. To do this, we can take an iron ring and sell it with a blue gem to a vendor. Grab the waypoint back to the Cavern of Wrath and head through to the Cavern of Anger. In here we're looking for the exit, but be extremely careful. In this area you'll find red squids. They explode on contact and will kill you. They've been the cause of my death more than I wish to admit. Once you find Mavel's lair, head inside. We're going to use Poisonous Concoction for the first time against a boss. This skill throws a ton of projectiles because of what we're supporting it with, and will deal large chaos damage and poison the enemy. It should be noted that Poisonous Concoction consumes life flash charges to gain extra damage. It is very easy to run out of life flash charges, so you will need to try and avoid taking too much damage. We'll be getting some nodes on the tree very soon to fix the life flash situation. The idea in this fight is to avoid the arena effects and the boss grenades until you manage to phase her to the sea monster and then finish her. Exit her lair at the back to the southern forest, run up the wall to the right and exit to the Act 2 town. Sell any unwanted items to Groost and head out of town to the right to the old fields. Follow the road to the end where you'll reach the crossroads. If you don't have a second Quicksilver Flask, then drop a portal at the exit or at the den if you pass it. In the crossroads, follow the path right until you reach the waypoint. If you don't have your second Quicksilver Flask, then port back to town and take the portal to the old field and enter the den. Kill the bear at the end and get your reward from Yina. Take the waypoint back to the crossroads and head up. If you already had your second Quicksilver, then just head up. When you find the Chamber of Sins, enter. We want to head to the centre, and once we get there, follow the waypoint to the exit. It's a straight line to the stairs from here. In the Chamber of Sin level 2, we're going to run around until we find an offshoot to Fidelitas, the boss. Dispatch him, get the baleful gem from the crafting bench, and log out. Take either Blood Rage or Herald of Ash as the quest reward from Groost, and buy the other one from Yina. Exit stage left to the riverways. Follow the path using Frostblink to jump over the broken bridges. Continue left, grabbing the waypoint as you pass it, eventually entering the western forest. Follow the path downwards, grabbing the waypoint and noting the side of the road it's on. Cut down Captain Arteria at the bottom of the area and pick up the thematic emblem. Place this in the thematic seal. Now head up the area on the opposite side of the road to the waypoint. Eventually you'll find the entrance to the Weaver's Chamber, a large dangerous spider. Head through the chamber until you find the lair. Enter it and you'll see the big spider surrounded by her ads. Do remember to switch on the Herald of Ash aura and use Blood Rage when the buff goes down. Blood Rage does cause us to take a 4% of our life or energy shield pool as physical damage per second as a debuff. In return for this, it gives us increased attack speed and also leech. The leech it gives us should help us offset the cost. Once the Weaver's down to about half health, she'll go into the ceiling and we'll just be left with her ads for a little while until she comes back down. What you want to try and do in this fight is stay behind her because she will poison you if you're in front of her. Once she's down, grab Malagara's spike and log back to town. Go and talk to Silk, he'll have a quest reward for us. We don't need any particular quest reward, so just grab any of them. Head over to Yina and let's buy elemental damage with attacks. We're not going to use this until we get to the end of Act 3, so let's pick it up and level it for later. If you don't have any spare sockets, then you can use your weapon swap. Gems in your weapon swap will level even though you're not using those weapons. Take the waypoint back to Act 1, talk to Bestel for a skill point. Now take the waypoint back to the Act 2 town and then head straight to the crossroads, follow the path downwards to the Fellshrine ruins. Follow the path in the ruins to the crypt. Get to the second level of the crypt and kill the boss Archmage Joffrey at the end. Click on the quest marker to drop the golden hand. Take this back to Yena for an extra skill point. Back to the crossroads now, follow the waypoint to the right to the broken bridge. At the end of the path into the broken bridge you'll find Creighton. End him and take his amulet, log back in and take the waypoint to the riverways, follow the path that breaks out from the side of the road and enter the wetlands. Find Oak's camp, it's normally around the centre of the arena. Once you find him, take him out. Do beware, he has a massive amount of regen at certain points. However, Poisonous Concoction should finish him fairly quickly. Once he's down, take his amulet, then run to the top left of the area and grab the waypoint, touch the door covered in vines. Take the waypoint back to the western forest, whichever side of the road the waypoint is on, head in that direction until you reach the outer wall and then head down to find a Lyra. Choose to help her for the all-res boost, which is amazing early on. You can always roll this off later for the extra skill point. Take the waypoint back to the wetlands and enter the ruins. It's now a straight path all the way to the end of the Act 2 boss, the Val Oversoul. When he finally decides to come out of the ground, you can eventually take him down with Poisonous Concoction. That's of course if you didn't die of boredom while waiting. We can now log back to the Act 2 town and take the waypoint directly to Act 3. Apart from the main skill changer in Act 3, there are very few other changes to the build. For this reason, I won't be guiding you in lockstep around this sprawling chaos of an act. Instead, I'm going to point out the milestone bosses and then we'll talk about which gem we get after that boss. If you are new to the game and don't know how to get through the acts, I do have a guide to each of the acts in a playlist. I will link it in the description. And while you're looking for that, why not click the like button? It'll help the channel out a lot. The first of these milestone bosses is Piety in the Crematorium, taken down to half health and she'll retreat. Maramoa will now offer us a skill gem reward, but it's not that we're after, so you can pick any of those. Go over to Clarissa however and get haste. We're going to swap out Herald of Ash for this, but keep Herald of Ash leveling because we're going to switch back to it later. The next boss of note is Gravicius, but just before you get to him, you're going to meet Cockroach Lady or Diala. Get the Strength Amulet from her as the quest reward. It's going to be the attribute that you're missing the most. Next is Gravicius. He is no joke, he does a ton of damage. You will basically want to kite him around, hitting him with Poisonous Concoction. Once he's down, head back to town. We don't want the skill gem from Maramoa again, so just pick any of those you like. We're going to buy Explosive Concoction from Clarissa. Note that this skill does take an Orb of Chance. Previously, I've never had trouble getting an Orb of Chance by this point. However, in this run, because I spent all my luck on the beach, didn't get one. If you did much better than me, we're now going to switch to Explosive Concoction, Volley, and Lesser Multiple Projectiles. So basically, just upgrade Poisonous Concoction to Explosive Concoction. You can now throw away Poisonous Concoction and Withering Step. Once we get a 4 link, we can add elemental damage with attacks to Explosive Concoction. Now is also the time that we'll be swapping haste back for Herald of Ash. Unlike Poisonous Concoction, Explosive Concoction does not use our life flash charges. So we can now roll off Replenishing Remedies and that whole node. We will have about 4 refund points by this point, so it's really easy to do. This should allow us to get really close to picking up Precise Technique. This skill gives 40% more damage with attacks, which is insane. But we must keep our accuracy rating above our life in order for that to take effect. So from now on, whenever you upgrade the life on your character, check that it won't push you above accuracy first. If it does, that's really bad. There are no more changes now until the end of Act 4, so let's do our Ascendancy, which I get as soon as I've got to the Crystal Veins in the middle of Act 4. Getting your Ascendancy is not a part of this guide. I will leave the link in the description where I talk about how to ascend. Once we've got Azaro down for the last time, we can head through to the treasure room, open the chests, try to get some Transfigured gems. We can then head over to the Ascendancy altar to ascend. Our 3 Ascendancy choices are, first, Assassin. This is designed around critical strikes and poison. If you're building a poison build, then you're going to want to go with Noxious Strike first. This gives us more chance to poison, longer duration of poison, and we recover life based on the amount of poison on an enemy. For a more defensive choice, we can go Mistwalker. This gives us Elusive when we gain a critical strike. We have 50% more elusive effect, and we take no extra damage from critical strikes while we are elusive. Elusive gives us 15% chance to avoid all damage from hits. 30% increased movement speed, it's insane. If this is your selection, then you will need to roll off Precise Technique, because that stops us dealing critical strikes. If you're going critical strike, then you want to go either Ambush and Assassinate, Opportunistic, or Unstable Infusion if you're getting that firepower charges. The next Ascendancy choice is Trickster, and my top pick is One Step Ahead. This increases our action speed by 8% and slows down the enemy. It also prevents us from being stopped by freeze or slowed down by chill. The Temporal Chains curse will also have no effect on us. If your character's feeling a little squishy, then Escape Artist will give you a lot of defense, providing you're wearing a high evasion chest. The last Ascendancy is Saboteur, which is going to be really situational, so I don't really have a top pick. However, for defenses, Born in the Shadows, which means you cannot be blinded, and all enemies are blinded on hit, is a great source of defense. I will personally be going Trickster this round, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and pick one step ahead. You can now change your endgame skill whenever it feels good. However, you can level with Explosive Concoction all the way to maps. It's also probably going to get you there faster because Explosive Concoction is just so strong early. If you are leveling all the way to maps with Explosive Concoction, then at the end of Act 4, change Volley for Greater Volley. This is a quest reward. You'll also want to pick up a Burning Brutality on the tree and Fire Mastery with 100% increased damage with hits against ignited enemies. This is very, very strong early. On the other side of the dexterity node leading to this, there is Weathered Hunter. You can go for this to not have to worry about your accuracy for quite a while. You could also get the Mastery that gives you 500 to accuracy rating and -2 accuracy rating per level. And that's really all you need to level the rest of the way. Do note that this is not an endgame guide. The idea is that once you get to this point, go and find an endgame build you want to play, and then you'll start switching to it and adjust the tree as you go. You can use extra refund points that you pick up throughout the campaign, as well as Regal Orbs. One final way of doing it is to use excess gold with Faustus. I do hope this guide helps. If it does, why not leave a comment and let me know exactly what you liked about it. And with that, thanks for watching, and may the RNG be with you.